right, here's Luna. She's been moved into another new enclosure. They had to take her out of the previous one that was totally outside to make room for some young raccoons that they're getting ready to release eventually. So I'll just show you where she's at. It's a decent enclosure. It's smaller than what she's used to. See how they have these windows on the side? That's what they're allowing me to hang out in this window and look at her. So she's got some filtered sunlight. At least it's cool back here, as hot as it is outside, so I'm very thankful for that. But again, she's just huddled and not moving. She's afraid to come out, or, I don't know. I don't know if she's injured and she can't walk. I've never seen her walk. And I've also asked that the vet at this facility come out and observe her with me. They said she's not here today. And they said she's acting like a normal wild coyote would act. And the pet word was used. So, I want to clarify here. I've never considered the coyotes I had as pets. Certainly, I'm extremely attached to them, and I love them, and they love me. They're in my care, this girl, for 13 years. Hours outside with them every day, interacting. I tried to tell the director here that they're not pets, and she said, well, you pet them, so that makes them a pet. I don't think so, because there's a lot of people that have sanctuaries, and it's providing these animals a place to live out their natural life. The purpose is not to go obtain one from the wild or from a breeder and keep them as a pet. I kept them in 35 by about 35 enclosures outside. I had 3 of them divided up because you can't keep males together and you can't keep females together in such close quarters like that. So now if Luna's able to come home, she would have a 35 by over 100-foot enclosure all for herself. That's outdoors with shade and with many, many nice activities and places to get cool and hide and do what coyotes do. It just bothers me that they are referring to me as somebody that considered them pets, because that was never my intention. I've actually spoken out against that, because a lot of coyotes end up euthanized. They're cute little babies, and not everyone has the time or knows what they're going to have to deal with, and then they become a problem, and if there's not a place that would take them, then, they get euthanized. So, no, they're not pets. They were never pets. But I had a sanctuary. I had a safe place for them. And I really enjoyed educating the public and trying to, quell coyote-human conflict by explaining to people that when they're trotting through, hi, pretty girl, when they're trotting through your yard, they're looking for rabbits, mice. Their diet in Cook County is 90-something% rodent, so they do us a great service. I've even had ranchers. What are you doing? You're listening to me, aren't you? Oh, you're such a pretty girl. Luna, I'm so sorry. So I've had ranchers and farmers tell me that they love having the wild coyotes on their property. So even, people that were notoriously against coyotes in the past are coming around to realize their value. I had someone with 30 acres cattle ranch tell me, they cannot dig enough holes to keep up with stillbirths or animals that die, so that the scavenging coyotes really do them a service. Yeah, and then another guy on a farm once said they were very overrun with rabbits, and the rabbits were chewing through wiring as they go to build new barns. And he had initially asked me if I would want some rabbits, if he caught rabbits for me, and I said no, I don't do that. But I said, rest assured, you'll probably see some wild coyotes hanging around and they'll take care of your rabbits. And that is exactly what happened. Next time I saw the guy, he said I was right. They saw coyotes hanging around, their rabbit population dwindled, and the coyotes moved on. So a lot of people know their value. A lot of people learned things coming through my place. I've even had people that have killed them and hunted them come through, and I attempt to show them, like, look, they are canines. They are like dogs, but they are wild. So you're basically killing dogs, and there's no reason to do that. They, if they get into your chicken coop, there's things you can do. There's peaceful coexistence. There's ways around killing them. And also there's many cases where people kill a bunch of coyotes in an area and then they are overrun with rats and mice and actually lost cattle because of they depleted the coyote population so much that the rats were digging underground and the cattle would fall into holes and break their legs. So yeah, nature has a way of balancing things out. People should leave it alone. So back to this pretty girl. Oh my goodness. Luna. She looks pretty today. Yes, you do. I'm glad I can get a little closer look at you. But they still won't let me in with you, even though the nice judge said I could. So I don't think that's right. I do not think that's right. And, DNR, what is the purpose of keeping her here? I have no idea what they plan to do with her. The director here told me the officer in charge of this was still trying to find permanent placement for her. I don't really think that's his decision. So I'm not even sure what he, I don't know. That's what I was told. So, she's, they're looking to place her at a place that has licensing just like I do. So, yeah, what is the difference? Maybe other places have more people on staff. I took very good care of her and her pack mates for 13 years. Please go to Happy Coyotes on YouTube. It's Happy Coyotes Truths about Peaceful Coexistence. You'll see some video of them having a grand old time in their enclosures, interacting with each other, interacting with me. Not a pet situation in someone's house. And I'm not knocking that totally. There are a few people that have done a tremendous job, but for the average person, they're getting something that they are not aware of how much work and time and effort it takes. And, rather than getting a wild animal and trying to make it like a pet, I always suggest get a poor dog off death row at a shelter. I mean, how many of those animals are put down every day because people won't stop breeding or people think pets are disposable? It's tens of thousands of days a day. You can look up the statistics, for the U.S., for our state of Illinois. It's horrifying. So, if you're in the United States, please adopt, don't shop. And don't think that getting a coyote from a breeder is going to mean that it's domesticated. It's not. Their DNA is the same. You know, unless they're breeding it with dogs, you still have wild animal in there. This girl is never going to be a wild coyote. She's been with me her entire life. So thanks for listening. Thanks for your continued support. I really appreciate everyone. And I'm glad I could at the least, you know, get a little visit with her, because I am afraid every time I see her that it could possibly be the last time I see her. She looks like she's comfortable in here, but it's not a good thing that she won't move. She's scared. She's traumatized, and I don't know if she has any other physical damage from everything she's been through. When I first saw her over here, it looked like her face had been bit up, so I know that didn't happen here. It could have it obviously happened at the first facility. It could have been from her trying to get out of an enclosure, but it looked to me like bite marks on her face, so I really wonder what happened at Flint Creek. For now, you know, like I said, I'm glad she's in a nice cool spot. She's not panting, she's not hot. There's a water bowl here, but I don't see any food that they're, obviously she's eating or she wouldn't be alive. But I've been told they're feeding her mice and quail. She caught mice outside, but I would find them, so it wasn't her favorite food. So, you know, God forbid if someone thinks they can convert her into a wild coyote and release her somewhere, because that cannot happen. She needs to be back home by me. You know, her behavior the rest of her life may be like this, no matter where you put her. But if she's back home with me, she'll be in familiar space. She'll have me 24/7. I am ready to quit my job and stay home with her if I have to. I know she'll do much better if she gets home. I'm willing to move to a different state if that's what it takes, you know. She's 13, but she's got some time left. They can live to be 20 in captivity. And I'm very proud that she made it this far. You know, gosh, I don't know how she survived if the other 3 had distemper. That just makes no sense at all. And it makes no sense at all to say they died a day or 2 after they took them from distemper. The Cook County guys were all commenting how healthy they were because they were running around like crazy trying to get away from them as they flipped their houses and chased them down and cornered them with the dart guns and shot them. Shots firing out, scaring them. You know, I was so worried last night on the 4th of July. There was so much activity by my house. I just pray that didn't traumatize her here. There are houses around here, so I'm sure there was some going on, but she's doing the same thing she's done for a month when I've seen her. She's just curled up in a ball and hiding out and kind of dozing off, but she's listening to me and she can see me, so that's good. I just, you know, now it's a couple times a week. That's still not enough time. You know, she's not gonna be her old self until she gets home, and she may never be her old self. You know, her pack mates are gone, her sibling, they're dead. So her life will be different, but at least she would have me. Thanks for listening, everyone. Really appreciate your help and support. My fundraiser on Facebook is going just for a couple more weeks. May start a new one because the court fees and the lawyers keep adding up, and of course I have to travel to come see her. So I appreciate everyone so very, very much. It's really touched my heart that so many of you are kind and care about this one little coyote here. Please bring Luna home. She deserves to live out her life in some peace and comfort in a familiar place with her mom. And yeah, even though I'll refer to myself as her mom, I still don't consider her a pet. A pet is something that someone goes out purposefully and gets and keeps in their home. You know, I was USDA licensed. Part of my license meant that I'm open to the public, which I was. I had people over all the time visiting them and learning about them and seeing how beautiful nature makes wild dogs. I really enjoyed educating people that might have been worried about them trotting through their yard on occasion. They're not there to attack your children. And yeah, certainly they will take little dogs. They're called opportunistic eaters, but that's not a staple, certainly. And people need to be responsible with small pets like little dogs and cats. If you keep them outside unattended, you run many risks. But, I mean, for example, in Cook County alone, the statistics of a coyote getting a dog are like, 1% compared to 90-something% that it's going to be another dog. So, nobody talks about that when a coyote gets a little dog on the news. It's sensationalized. And, what about the hundreds that were killed by other dogs that day? Yeah, so there's my more than 2 cents for today. It's July 5th, 2019. Luna's been away from me since April 24th, 2019. And again, there were no complaints from neighbors. There was no question of neglect. And there was no danger of public safety. They were contained in double-fenced 7-foot-high enclosures per USDA regulations. They could not get out. They never got out. My neighbors all loved them. They howled occasionally. It lasted about 1 to 2 minutes at the most. And as the IDNR officer said, my neighbors interviewed were all quite fond of the fact I had coyotes. And gosh, I really wish he would have just knocked on my door when he was knocking on my neighbor's door. We could have straightened this out over whatever permit they wanted me to get. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. They said in court that I needed a hound running permit. So for those of you that don't know what that is for people that have hunting dogs and they catch coyotes and they catch raccoons and they catch other wild animals and put numbers on their hound dogs and let the hound dogs go after the animal and bet on the hound dogs. So that's, pretty close to dog fighting, yet you can buy a license to do that, and that's the license they told me that I need to have. That's quite ridiculous. It's disgusting, to ask someone that provides a safe haven for rescued coyotes that would have otherwise perished to tell them they need a hound running permit, which is something that is issued to people that kill animals ruthlessly and bet on it, or, for training purposes so they can go out and do that with wild ones that are not captive. But yeah, so, the laws are screwed up. You can get a permit to catch a wild coyote and throw it in with your dogs to tear apart, but they don't want someone like me to provide a safe haven for them. Yeah, okay. That's it for now. I'm glad I got some good video of her. Thank you for listening. Thanks for your support. There's a change.org petition. Please sign it. It's addressed to Governor Pritzker. By the way, if you go to Illinois Department of Resources website, that's IDNR. That's the officer that Story is he walked his dog past my house and his dog barked at someone or another dog, and my coyotes howled in return, and then he started his investigation that consisted of, he told me, finding me on the USDA website. So 13 years of licensing means nothing, and I should have also been in the IDNR database, but he said he couldn't find me. And the other part of his investigation was copying pictures off of my Facebook showing that I had them. So obviously if I'm posting on Facebook and I got a YouTube channel and I'm having the public over, I was not hiding anything or trying to do anything illegally. I was under the assumption I did everything I was supposed to do. As far as their care, we had hunters donating deer meat, all kinds of things. They also had grain-free kibble as a staple, which they've pretty much refused to do at both wildlife facilities because it's not what a wild coyote would eat. Yet she's had it 13 years of her life, and thank God, you know, she looks better on the video than what I can see in the crate here because the lighting is turned up a lot and you can see her beautiful colors, but of course it's, you know, a little shady here for me, but I can't see her body, so I can't see if she's lost weight, if she can walk or anything. You know, this is it. She's extremely depressed and she needs to come home. Thanks everyone. Thanks for listening.